shooting for Sam, turn 5.
Alright, so most of the shooting is over there. So, I guess I'm gonna have to fire stuff.
Rapid fire the bolters and the bolt pistol from the easel launcher.
Still gonna miss with the pistol.
Oh, he didn't
look at
miss.
Wow. Didn't wound either.
3 wounds. All right. So
Lightning claw
if Dave rolls lots of 1s,
and hammers.
nope, 5 and a 5.
Alright, these guys have the super poison rounds, right?
Yeah, hellfire rounds.
Melt
So wounds on
together
2.
range.
So
There's those.
there's the hellfire rounds. 4 hits, 2s to wound. Oh, only 2 wounds.
And the melting one.
Melted hits, melted wounds.
Alright. So poison on lightning claw, on thunderhammer, and the storm shield for the melta gun on thunderhammer.
Oh, Thunderhammer Storm Shield. Good. All that just bounced off. Terrible news.
On the rear, some whatever these guys are called.
Roll them separately because you have a higher ballistic skill on the Grandmaster, but only strength 4. So he hit twice, and then the other guy has strength 5. So he hits twice. You need to roll him as a separate because he's strength 5. Because he's got the
2 wounds.
1 wound. So total of 3.
Into my death companies? 3 regular dudes. 3 regular blokes who I love dearly. Feel no pain.
Wow. Anything else, Sam?
Yeah, I got this thing.
Aha. You remember the drop pod.
Land Raider! Measuring the Dark Reapers.
Got it.
The Dark Reapers. 2 hits. 2 wounds.
Not my Exarch.
They're okay.
Awesome.
All right. Does the game end? Dave's gonna roll. I hope this is the one. This is the 1 or 2. 1 or 2. The game ends. Oh yeah.
Shake hands over the table.
all the saves, all the times Dave saved and made good rolls, that came back to bite him with the 1.
Yeah.
I've had games like that. We'll give it a second, or we'll have them sit down and we'll talk about strategy and what they felt like they could have done better, what they liked about their lists, what they didn't. Sam, what did you feel like was your MVP, the best unit?
Oh, the MVP? Definitely the
Stern Guard.
Stern Guard, man, they tore it up. Honestly, Stern Guard, when you run them like this, 5 of them in a drop pod, and you've got the 1-shot Kabi Meltas, you're honestly, hoping that they'll die, I guess, is the best outcome, right?
At least
they'll take something out with them.
Right.
They'll take out that
Die
later.
with valor.
Die gloriously.
Yeah, right? These guys stuck around and just caused trouble all game. So, they were almost single-handedly responsible for taking out 2 troop choices out of your 3, one of them non-scoring. So those guys probably won me the game. If not, I'm sure it would have been a tie, because even if he had 1 guy left, having those naders protecting him.
I think I would have won if we got a turn 6.
No, probably. Well, okay, fair enough, right?
That's possible.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely possible.
Worst unit.
The Storm Raven.
Yeah, the Storm Raven did crap.
Because I shot it down right away.
I also had this unit of Terminators sitting out here. I don't know what they were doing. They were really just confused. I should have put them over here just to be on this objective. I thought maybe we'll end up fighting over the middle. I overestimated our close combat capabilities. I think even if he hadn't shot everything as well as he did in close combat, I don't think I would have fared nearly as well as he would have in a straight up fight.
Depends on who got the charge, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true. I had a lot of halberds to begin with. I think I had a total of 7 or 8 halberds on the table.
Yeah.
Those halberds would have been crushing Death Company.
Yeah, well, especially if the Death Company didn't charge, because they wouldn't have reroll.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter because I have counter charge on both squads.
Right,
So it would have been
but
strike first.
But what I'm saying is, yes, your halberds could have swung a lot, but and that would have been great. But the Death Company still would have had reroll.
True.
But if you do, and the Grandmaster and your Captain would have gone before them.
He did
if they
have
didn't charge.
him in a Land Raider. Generally speaking, the first charge out of the Land Raider is his choice.
Right. Well, and he made his choice there. He went after your assassin. So
that assassin actually ended up doing a good job, even if he died, because it popped him out. I was like, in my opinion, in my experience, it's best to hold the Death Company off till like turn 4, because once you leave them out, once you get them out of the Land Raider, you've got idiots shooting past their land speeders past you, going, "Oh look, a land speeder! Come and get this crap." That worked twice. That was 2 turns where he just wasted killing land speeders. Not to mention
killing a land speeder is never a waste.
Well, yeah, but how much firepower did I pull off?
No, you're right. You're right. It was a good tactic on Sam's behalf. I actually didn't. For some reason, I kind of had it in my brain that he would. Probably because they're Thomas's land speeders, and Thomas treats them like his children.
they are my children. I love land
I
speeders.
kind of had it in my mind that, just seeing the model on the table, that's how it would be treated. And so it didn't even really occur to me that Sam was going to use the land speeders to bait my Death Company in these just throwaway, here's a 100-something point model, come eat it, but he did.
Right.
And it did work for him.
It's because I play Eldar, man. You do it with the Wave Serpents all day.
So it did work for him, and
Yeah. Sam, strategies. What would you do differently if you could go back?
At the beginning of the game, I did choose to refuse the flank. I really, really heavily thought about just putting everything in this corner and having just a pitched battle. The problem with doing that came down to the fact that there's an objective just sitting over here. Thinking about it again, it may have been worth putting half the tack squad with the missile launcher over here to take this, and then just put everything in this general vicinity. That might have been a better choice. In any case, I think next time, if I had been in a similar situation, I definitely would have tightened up my firing lanes, and I definitely would have been more careful about things like denying the double charge over here, which could have been potentially incredibly disastrous.
That's a possible. It's a hard distance there.
Yeah.
Let's say here and here. It would depend on how, because this is more than 2 inches. It would depend on how he moved his guys prior to coming in. Because if they can't, the way it reads with going into close combat, you go closest to closest, and then you bring other models within 6 inches to unbased models. So if you depending on how he moves.
Best case scenario, if you'd rolled a 6 through the terrain.
All right, so
you would have
go, Dave. If you rolled a 6 through the terrain, how would you move your good? Well,
the gaps, I would have moved him if I'd rolled a 6 through the terrain.
So you could use
six through the
this
terrain.
guy back here to connect up by standing here, right?
no, he has to
try and
base.
Right,
I
so
think
he could
I
use
wouldn't.
these guys to
I
base.
wouldn't try. I don't even think I would try. I would eyeball that and see that the gap's too big. So if I'd rolled a 6 through the terrain, I would have taken out the only unit that could take this, and these guys could go live on it, and who cares because they can't own it.
Right.
So I would have just gone. If I had got a 6 through the terrain, I would have just come here and crushed them and called it a day.
Okay.
One thing that you pointed out to me off camera was that a better potential move back here on turn 5 would have been to hold this guy 3 inches back and then move these guys up into the terrain, running them so that they're closest, so that the Death Company get lured away. That was one thing I didn't really think about, didn't really see.
Ultimately, I don't know that it would have worked because we talked about the Death Company charging. They probably win that combat and they consolidate, and they would
right
consolidate
on top of
over
this.
to the objective.
Yeah, one thing.
And then I would have won
Well,
because I would have killed
the Grandmaster would have died.
which means I would have actually held.
Well,
more objectives than
he
him.
would have held more. No, but he would have held more objectives because he
My
still has
HQs
his
were
2
alive.
HQs.
which were uncontestable. So
Yes.
see, that's what I was going for. I was going for a kill on one of your HQs because I was pretty sure you'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, that's true.
Cool.
I put all my eggs in one basket for turn 6.
Didn't really have a choice.
Yeah, well, I did have a choice. I could have ran. I mean, I rolled the 5 inches. I could have been here.
Right.
But then I would have been charged, and like you said,
I think. Well, yeah.
I know
think
the outcome of that.
I think Sam would have won that combat.
I do too.
He
Undoubtedly. The
he,
Grandmaster with his goofy grenades and the possible psychic powers also helped with the captain and tools accompanying the captain.
The tools accompanying the captain, I wouldn't worry so much about, but I feel like you're right. I feel like between the captain and the Grandmaster and the silly grenades,
I would lose too much. I would get worked, and I would just end up losing that outright for nothing. Whereas this way, I had a 66% chance of getting that next turn. And had I got it, then I think I would have won the game because I think I would have gone for this charge, and I'm pretty sure I'd have won that combat.
Right. Well, Death Company always want to charge.
And to make, to be even sillier, I would have flown this over here.
Right.
I would have crack missiled that and taken away his smoke.
Right.
I'd have shot any survivors with this. I'd have charged here just to add insult to injury. And that would be all she wrote.
There you go. Well, cool. Dave, what do you think your best unit was? Most useful?
It's hard to say. The Terminators didn't do anything except escort the librarian who shoot away a Thunderfire cannon with Fear of the Darkness, and potentially could have done more, but they did. For losing everything over here, they still pretty much held down this objective. The Reapers were extremely useful, especially the Exarch and his ability to shoot stuff down. The Death Company killed something every turn. Granted, a couple times it was land speeders they didn't want to be killing. They still, it's usually a vehicle going that fast is hard to get rid of, but with their chaplain helping them along, they didn't have any trouble just taking out vehicle after vehicle.
Right.
The Land Raider was the game changer, actually. Him getting himself immobilized changed the whole game, because if he had not gotten himself immobilized, he would have moved here and screened the Death Company from being able to see this land speeder.
And then they would have.
And then I wouldn't have had to charge towards it. And so then my Death Company would have gone in the exact direction I wanted them to go, which was go eat Sam's guys over there.
You gotta look at it from the model's view, though, too, Sam.
And they were like right here.
Yeah.
Is the model gonna be able to see that land speeder?
No, I'd say probably no.
So, and worst case scenario, even if I couldn't completely screen it, okay, fine. Now I can still see it and I run this way. There's nothing in Rage. It says you have to go in this direction. It doesn't say you can't embark or, at the end of that move. So I would go, roar, get in.
Right.
And then I would drive it somewhere else. So that was the biggest turning point on the game for me, I think. The Land Raider did a bunch of damage with its firepower. The Shining Spears, the turn where I played smart with them and I got the charge on Sam's Terminators he was talking about over here, they wiped them out.
Right.
For no loss. Between them and the Farseer, they took 0 casualties and they wiped out the score. The next turn, obviously, I didn't fare so well because I let the Grey Knights charge me. I tried something that, as soon as it was apparent I couldn't do what I was trying to do, I should have
decided not to do it.
if we're going to talk strategy, it's something we could have done better. There's 2 big things I could have done better. Once it was apparent that I couldn't surround the Storm Raven and do what I wanted to do, I should have canceled that move and done something smarter with that unit. And then my squad over here, my last troop squad of bikes, I was thinking I'll get enough firepower on these Stern. The Stern Guard had kind of annoyed me by killing my Pathfinders.
Right.
And since, it's not a big tournament and everything else, I did let my thirst for vengeance get a little better of my judgment. And so I came on here thinking, I've got these guys and all their shuriken catapults, and I've got these guys and their shuriken catapults. I'm going to shoot a ton of firepower into them, drop 2 or 3 of them, then I can even handle them in an assault.
Right.
Instead, it didn't work out that way, and they were killed subsequently the next turn quite easily. What I should have done was flown them starting here, 24 inches here, behind this building where they were 100% safe,
Right.
and still getting a 3-up cover safe in case there was some unforeseen
Somebody seen
fall out of the
something.
sky, shoot something,
Right.
and basically just kept them safe until the end of the game. Because their whole purpose, their 76-point scoring unit, their whole purpose is in-game, oh, that's my objective.
Right. I fly up.
This one, if they could have flown here and taken this one. I had a Land Raider parked on top of this objective.
Right.
I could have flown right up next to it and owned it. So that's a big strategic thing I should have done differently, could have done differently. That one and then the move with the shiny. So basically the Eldar bikes. I couldn't play them. I started out well with the Shining Spears, with their little screen around the Land Raider to keep him from dropping down and blowing it up.
Right.
And then their subsequent destruction of the Terminators. But then after that, then I made a dumb move with them and got them killed. Same thing there. I made a dumb move there and got them killed. These Terminators were never going to get to the fight since it was all the way over there, and I couldn't let him just take this objective. So I don't regret, even though they didn't get to swing their hammers and claws at anything, I don't regret their role they played in the battle. They were pretty good. I mean, you saw it. He was basically hopeless over here,
Right.
just praying for some kind of miracle, to take care of these guys, and it wasn't going to happen.
Well, I was more happy just to peel him off, honestly. I mean, there's a very small chance I would ever be able to claim that objective.
Right. And then the Reapers, they were a bright spot. And I liked their position. They basically had range on the whole table from here. So since I deployed first, I put them here thinking I'll have range there, but if by me setting up like this, I force him out of that, which was kind of my hope, and he does go over there, I'll have range there too. And they did. And they shot down the Storm Raven right off the bat.
Which could have been some answering nastiness.
Could have been, if the Storm Raven had been mobile for even one turn, who knows, that could have changed the entire outcome of the whole game.
Right.
So.
Cool. Well, if you guys had the list to play again, what would you not take? Obviously, I wrote Sam's list for him. So Sam, what would you not take if something that I wrote?
I thought that the vanilla Marine side of the army was very tight. It was a very solid army.
I play vanilla Marines normally,
Yeah,
so that's,
I mean,
that's
you know
where it
how to
comes
build.
from.
You've thought about it from multiple angles already. I think maybe the only change possible in that part of the list was the land speeders could have been traded out for attack bikes, and that's a classic argument. What's better, the attack bike or the land speeder, because they're very similar in style.
Right.
In that case, I think those attack bikes are better.
Yeah.
Or land speeders are better, sorry.
In this case.
In this case.
Why do you think that?
Well, I needed 6s to hit him since you decided to use them to lead me on a merry goose chase.
Yeah, in close combat.
I need 6s to hit him. An attack bike doesn't matter how fast he goes. I'm going to hit him on force. He'd have been dead lots over.
Right.
Plus,
in combat.
Plus, I'd have gotten to consolidate after I killed him.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'd have gotten closer and it wouldn't have been as easy to lead me around. Also, the attack bike's going to have a multi-melta on it, and that's it. And this guy's got a Typhoon missile on it,
Typhoons are
which
nice.
is 2 shots, plus the heavy bolter. And since you used it to shoot at stuff like my Dark Reapers and other assorted small arms stuff, yeah, to me that's no.
That's true.
Now the attack bike, cheaper, but what would you have done with those extra points?
It's not that much cheaper though. It's like 10 points, 20 points cheaper.
No, this
To have the multi-melt.
This thing is 90. Yeah, this thing is 90 with a heavy bolter. The attack bike with a multi-melt is 60.
50.
I think, is it maybe 40 base or 50 base? I don't remember which. If it's 50 or 40 base, and it's like
It's
10.
50 or 60, so you're looking at 30 or 40 extra points.
Could have brought 3 of them, but
You bring Bolton
again,
to stand.
Instead of the captain.
Instead of the captain.
I could
How
have.
much
You're right.
combat did he see?
I could have brought the captain.
Multi-meltas and everything.
How many multi-meltas did you have?
Well, if I had attack bikes, I would have had 2.
Right, as it was.
This is totally outside of anything important. This is a tangent. With the Grey Knights, I didn't like it. It seemed really points heavy. Obviously, the Terminators are a troop choice. That's a very solid troop choice. Very strong troop choice, but they're very expensive. So, like, I literally had 11 models on the table with the Grey Knights.
12 with your assassin.
Oh, I guess, yeah, and the assassin. 12 with the assassin. I think the only thing different, I don't know, maybe a rethinking a list that would have fit better with the shooty nature of the Vanilla Marines. Something like Purifiers with Psy cannons or some shooty walkers.
Yeah, Psy cannons can be pretty kind of nasty.
Dread Knights or Dreadnoughts. Other good choices.
What about you, Dave?
What would I not bring?
Now, what would you change in retrospect?
In retrospect, I would probably not bring the D cannons. I wanted to play them because you hardly ever see them. And maybe if I had got to shoot them, I wouldn't be saying this right now, but I didn't. So I wouldn't bring the D cannons, and I don't think I'd bring the Shining Spears either. They were fun, but I think I would actually be better served with a Farseer on foot instead of on a jet bike, chilling back here with the Reapers.
Right.
Guiding them every turn, which I didn't even bring guide, but I would have then had the points to do that.
Right.
So guiding and fortuning the Reapers. I think I probably brought a second unit of Reapers in the place of the Shining Spears for this particular army, and just relied on the Blood Angels for their close combat abilities and everything to go take the fight to the enemy. So if I got rid of the Shining Spears, I could switch that straight across for a unit of Reapers. In fact, I'd even have a few points left to spend. And then I'd probably switch out the D cannons for something with better range, like maybe a Fire Prism. I really like Fire Prisms a lot. I'm debating on the Death Company. I like the Death Company because they're so scary, and especially to people who know what they'll do if they get that charge with the Chaplain.
Right.
That's a mind game.
So I did have to bring a Troops Choice, and the only other option I would have had for a Troops Choice for the Blood Angels would have been one of their assault squads, which means the Land Raider would have been cheaper if I bought it for them.
Not a whole lot cheaper, though.
35 points, and the assault squad would have been minorly a little bit cheaper. So I might be able to squeak out enough points for maybe an attack bike of my own or something. I don't know.
Cool. Well,
Maybe I'd bring a small unit of Marine Scouts, Blood Angel Scouts with sniper rifles to hang out next to the Eldar Scouts and to really let my naders, because honestly I think the best close combat unit on this table, even with Grey Knight hokiness, is my Thunderhammer Storm Shield naders in the Librarian, just because my survivability is better.
right.
I've done that fight, and the Grey Knights go first, and then after you make your Storm Shield saves, they're sad when you hit them with the hammers and they die. So,
Unless they have a librarian.
and if they were bolstered by maybe that Furioso Dreadnought over there in a Storm Raven, then maybe that I could have gotten them into the fight. They wouldn't have gotten led around by the nose. They wouldn't have. See, I was keeping, like I heard you guys talking about, whether I get the charge or don't get the charge against the naders. My Death Company were never going to charge those naders as long as there was any halberds in there.
Right.
As long as there was more than 2 halberds, I wasn't going, period. It didn't matter whether I got the charge or not, because I'd just be dead. That's why I had those other guys there to do that for me. And once the halberds drop dead, sure, I'll go.
Right.
But so the naders would have been better for that because it wouldn't have mattered. I wouldn't have cared about halberds, and I wouldn't have cared about whether I was fighting naders or purple guys or whatever else.
Purple
So
guys.
that's probably if I had this to do all over again, that's what I'd do. I would drop the Shining Spears and trade them out for another unit of Reapers. I would drop the D cannons in favor of a Fire Prism, and I would lose the bike on the Farseer for a guy on foot, and that actually probably gives me enough extra points to throw an extra Pathfinder or 2 into the Pathfinder unit. The Space Marines, I would ditch the Land Raider entirely in favor of a Storm Raven for the Naders and Librarian to ride in, bring the Dreadnought, and I would tone down my Troops Choice Death Company into Camo Cloak Sniper Rifle, just because it would fit with the theme of the Eldar and everything. And then I would have a pretty good gun line, plus a unit to go get them.
Right.
That's what I do.
Cool. Well, hey, thanks for your time, guys. Appreciate it. Hope everybody on TV land enjoys.